Word, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
Well, it's not exactly the full Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. It is the 2-minute warning post-game show for your Cleveland Browns. Mikey McNuggets here.
Don't say it, Mike. Don't say it.
Adam the Bull and Jeff Lloyd. The Browns are winning, but that does not mean, as we learned last week, that they have won the game despite a double-digit lead with less than 2 minutes to play. At last check, the Browns lead 14-minute warning. I'm watching the game, Jeff.
Actually, there's an untimed down here right before the two. Technically, is 1:57 left. Well, actually, no, it's past the 2-minute warning. My bad.
I was telling Bull beforehand, I could see Brown Stadium right there. I'm watching the game on the Jumbotron.
Right, because it's at night, so you can see it.
It's nighttime, so I can see it. This is way better than having to look backwards and look at my TV behind me. But, guys,
here's the question right now. Guys, if you're the Steelers, you need 9 points. Do you kick a field goal? They just stopped them on third down. Don't you kick a field goal if you're the Steelers?
I do. You need two scores anyway. You got to get the automatic
right?
point.
That's what they're doing.
That's probably what you do. The Browns have
timeouts.
Like
a 39-yarder. Yeah.
And you got to think the Browns are going to be a lot more equipped for hopefully the onside kick.
He got the field goal, but there's a flag on the play.
We'll see what happens
so
there.
We'll see.
We had Tyvis break down the onside kick kerfuffle from last week. And I have to hope, I have to imagine, I have to pray. And guys, let's take a moment of silence here to pray for the hands team that they can figure out a way to recover this onside kick. And so for the next 3 seconds, well, I know it's impossible for you, but for 3 seconds, let's just get one moment of zen here for the hands team.
Yeah. Well, it was Jeremiah Usu-Koramoah had the major screw up as Tyvis showed us on that onside kick. He is obviously out. The penalty was on the Browns, by the way. Yeah, it was on the Browns, so the field goal counts. No, they've lost him today. They've lost Anthony Walker today. Although some of these linebackers that have come in, Taki and Fields, have made some plays here, guys.
Very active. Very active.
Like it. Wait, by the way, it's a penalty on the Steelers. It would make it 4th and 1. So if you're the Steelers, do you wipe off that field goal? I think you just take the field goal.
You take the points because then if you get the first down, it's going to draw more time off the clock. Take the points. You got to score again. It comes down to getting the onside kick regardless. I think you take your chances with the extra time on the clock.
Oh, no, wait. They're having to kick again for some reason.
Ironically, the Browns show.
Oh, do you even have the link that you had on Sunday? Like, you don't have the direct link into the stadium because all of us.
Probably because it's on Amazon that I'm not ahead of you guys today.
Let me tell you something. They have one camera angle on Amazon that works. Otherwise, it's like bubbles and water. Like even like my daughters came in like, well, why is this on pause? I'm like, it's not on pause.
Oh.
Mine didn't.
Amazon
I'm not having a problem.
No, you're probably getting. Are you getting a local feed or no?
No, I'm on Amazon.
Oh, I gotta be on Prime. Yeah, I gotta be on Prime.
It's on 4K. It's in 4K. It's awesome. So they kicked the field goal again for some reason. Obviously, I got the I don't know why. Maybe they whistled the play dead before the snap, the first field goal. And it wasted a few more seconds, but it's 23-17 with 1:48 to go, guys. So how are we feeling right now? I mean, guys, let me jump in here because I tweeted at halftime that, like, you think about it, from the fourth quarter of the Carolina game through halftime of this game, the defense was giving up 9 points per quarter against bad offensive teams. And I was like, you got to step it up. Now, I think the defense overall, they just gave up the first points of the second half. The defense has played much better in the second half. But again, can they finish?
They're actually showing on a Jumbotron.
Oh, man, you're way ahead. Now Mikey's ahead today because it's like you're sort of at the game.
I'm watching in the stadium. The issue is they don't show the Steelers have the ball. They don't do the play-by-play of the Steelers. They show, like, crowd shots and stuff when the Browns have the ball. All right,
the fact that we're saying here we go is crazy in the chat.
It's going too fast for me to click on it, but
yeah,
let's see.
All right, on my TV, he's lining up to kick the onside kick. Is that what you guys have right now?
It's a scrum. It looks like I can't see.
Oh, it's bad if it's a scrum.
No, I think it went out of bounds.
By the way, how about the Guardians, guys?
Great in the chest. Great in the chest.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. That happened a while ago, but they did win again. So congratulations to the Guardians. Sweeping the White Sox.
Oh, I just got a tweet that says Pfeiffer has to go. This is getting effing ridiculous.
Prefer,
sorry.
Did they lose the onside? Oh, my God. It went out of bounds. Oh, but there's a flag. I don't know what happened. The ball definitely went out of bounds.
Man, they almost blew it. So that seems good in the chats. Holy cow.
Holy cow. Man, they almost blew it. Yeah.
Well, who cares if they almost blew it? It went out of bounds, so they should be fine. It looks like they're going to have the ball. The Steelers have one timeout. That's not enough. So
3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Take the knee.
To the onside
Whatever
kick.
you do, take a knee.
Weeks in a row.
Well, no, there's no onside kick the first week. They're still the officials are meeting. I don't know what happened. There's a flag, and we'll see.
Offside.
That's what somebody tweeted. I don't know.
Well, offside would be defensive offside. Uh-oh, Jason just texted us. They said they effed it up again. Uh-oh.
What did they do?
Jason just texted the group. He said they effed it up again. I don't know what that means.
I'm not
Apparently,
in it. I
Donovan Peoples-Jones may have been offsides.
Oh, my gosh. So they got to do the onside kick again?
Jason says Pickens was offsides, but nobody blocked him. And Jason is – I'm watching – I'm a mile away watching the Jumbotron. Jason's in the stadium. So, Jason sees.
Schwartz on the hands team. That fair one.
Oh, my gosh.
By the way, quickly, guys, some major positives. Obviously, Amari Cooper had a great game, but that big drop, he's got to catch that ball. I want to hear how hard it's
Browns ball first down.
All right,
David,
I'm not gonna say game over. I'm not gonna.
Oh, they're not kicking it. Oh, they don't have to kick it over. Good. David Njoku's had a monster game.
David Njoku, Amari Cooper, absolutely.
Monster.
David Njoku's had a great game today. Had the one drop, but what caught 8 or 9 balls.
Hey.
Efficient. Jacoby Brissett played a hell of a game again today.
A lot of redemption. Jacoby Brissett is like, I am not a backup. I am QB number 1 until you know who gets back. He played another masterful game.
Do we want to start there? Do we want to start with that?
Let's just make sure they don't fumble.
You have to start with
what are they doing? Why are they running the ball instead of taking a knee?
They have 3 timeouts or no? No, they don't. They use
got one timeout.
Pittsburgh's got 1 timeout. Yeah.
These dudes.
What do they do? I mean, I know Nick Chubb I never fumbles, but still, I don't understand why they're doing that.
That's a knee.
Why didn't they take a knee?
Just take a knee. I saw someone tweet when Chubb scored with like 10 minutes left. They said, should he have taken a knee on the one? Was that too early?
Funny.
No, that guy was being a wise ass.
It was funny. It made me laugh. Funny or not, it made me laugh.
No, it's stupid because it's criticizing the people that said he should have taken a knee, and that was the right thing to do. But no, most people were not being critical of him, just saying, hey, somebody's got to know you got to take the knee. So whatever.
All right, well, Jeff, let's start with you then, man. The game's not over. I'm prefacing this with this. The game is not over until I see the final whistle come and they're
running
hands.
Again.
But, Jeff, what's your impression of Jacoby Brissett through 3 games now? Back-to-back A-plus performances on his end, and the Browns are now 2-1 and in first place in the I'm not going to say it. But he played well.
I got you. No, but the point you take away from
by the way, I guess the reason they're running – sorry to cut you off, Jeff, but the reason they are running that, I think about it, there will be a few seconds left for the Steelers if they don't get the first down. Few seconds. That's why they were running, trying to get the first down. Go ahead, Jeff.
No, but with Jacoby, you just see a guy who seems confident in what he's doing. You know, if it's a run play, he carries out every fake. And he literally will take the ball outside the tackle zone just to give everybody the premise of, I might keep the ball. But getting Marker involved, getting David Njoku involved. Obviously, we've seen a little bit of a shift in the wide receiver room because Anthony Schwartz barely on the field the last 2 weeks. You're starting to see David Bell. This is a team where
he's done anything.
Who?
Yeah.
Well, if all the targets are going to go to Cooper and they're going to go to Njoku, you got to take what you can get as a guy like David Bell. But I think they're a little more confident in that route, and because they're going to run the ball the way they do. Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb. It's what they do. But Jacoby Brissett, I mean, you talk about a guy, and even the QB sneaks. I mean, this is a guy who just like will all out there on the line. And I agree with everybody where he feels like, hey, this is my team. we all know it's probably not going to be his team, but he's doing everything he can for
There's
this franchise right now. There is no probably, but you got to play like act as if, and that is exactly what Jacoby Brissett is doing right now.
G. Bush, what do you think?
Listen, hey, all y'all out there, go ahead and just say it. I said it on Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Put some respect on the man's name. That's 2 games in a row. He didn't put the ball on the money. Amari Cooper should have had a couple. Remember, they took away the play down the sideline when Amari Cooper stepped out without being the first one to come back and touch the ball. They wiped that down. He had a couple of drops, but let me tell you what. This arm don't look like a backup arm. This Moxie don't look like a backup Moxie. He's out here not taking too many sacks. He got a couple big fourth downs on the sneaks, and he's getting them in the right plays, man. He's getting them in the right plays, and he's showing why they felt that man was supposed to be the leader.
They got the first down by an inch. First down by an inch.
So with that,
one knee. They still got to take a knee.
Well, will you let me get one sentence out before you cut someone? I'm trying to get something for the cold open tomorrow.
Right.
That part they can do, Bull. That part they can do.
I got to listen to Jeff and G tell me that Jacoby Brissett's a top 10 quarterback now. I'm losing my mind.
He is right now.
All right. So with that, ladies and
gentlemen, you ain't gotta be the
don't cut him off, will ya?
You done messed up the cold open.
Someone tweeted out. Did you see that picture, Bull? I think it was someone tweeted. Anytime I try to cut it, and Bull goes, "But Mike, wait one second."
Right. That time it was Jeff. That time was Jeff, though.
For the first time this season, the Cleveland Browns are 2-1 atop the AFC North standings by themselves. Jacoby Brissett, back-to-back A+ performances. And guys, we are talking about a team now that could have had their season all but ended tonight. Instead, have 10 days to prepare for the Atlanta Falcons, move 3-1 before the schedule turns and gets much harder. Bull, what's your one main takeaway from tonight's win over the Pittsburgh Steelers?
The way the defense played in the second half. We needed, I thought they played a really poor first half again. I was really scratching my head about the way the defense had played. They had all those injuries late in the first half. And in the second half, they kind of played like we expected. They played kind of pissed off in the second half, I thought. They had been getting humiliated, frankly, since the fourth quarter of the Panther game. And in the second half, they hold the Steelers to 3 points. And I thought that was huge. Hopefully that will continue next week because the offense is doing their job, and the defense hadn't been, and they did in the second half of that game. So that was big for me.
Jeff,
Jacoby Brissett. I mean, is there anywhere else to go with this? This was continuous throughout the day. And look, everybody knows what Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt can do, but you got to be able to show some things with your quarterback. Amari Cooper, another monster day. David Njoku, for anybody who is questioning why the Browns signed the contract extension they did, this is the envision. This is what David Njoku can do. And, there were moving parts on the offense side of the ball. Jedrick Wills obviously missed a couple of reps. Defense side of the ball, there's going to be some fingers crossed there, obviously. Anthony Walker, it could be a little bit. It could be all of it, obviously. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. But there's other linebackers who got in there, stepped up, like other guys have said here. But Jacoby Brissett, and, that sneak late in the third quarter where he got inside the 10 and threw the fist, you knew this guy's feeling it. He really feels comfortable with what this team is doing right now. And we all know it's going to be a limited time. But you play yourself, act as if. Jacoby Brissett, that's what you saw today.
G. Bush, before you go, can I say one thing about Brissett?
Talk your talk.
Tom Brady might be the GOAT. Jacoby Brissett is the 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 QB sneak up the middle GOAT. That man has never been stopped in the history of the world on a short QB sneak, going back to his days in New England where he learned from Tom Brady, Indianapolis, and Miami. If you need a few inches, Jacoby Brissett's your guy. G. Bush, take it away.
Hey, listen, 21-31, 220, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Only took 2 sacks for 15 yards, a QB rating of 109.6. Come on now. When you talk about it, we got number 1 production out of Amari Cooper, 7 catches, 101, and another touchdown out of 11 targets. Now, mind you, think about this. This is what Odell Beckham Jr. should have been doing last year. We would have been head over heels if we got that. And then finally, you come in, you get David Njoku involved, 9 catches, 89 yards, another touchdown. I tell you what, listen, to me, the story of this game is Jacoby Brissett, because if he's playing like that, and he's sharp, and there's a couple other plays that they left on the field because of some drops, if he continuously plays like that, the Cleveland Browns should be 3-0 right now, and I think they can go into Atlanta in another couple of days, and they can win that game too, and they'll be 3-1 right where they want to be at.
Guys, I may have
But dude, we talked about this. We talked about this. This next 7 games after Atlanta.
Guys,
hold on. Better about this
hold on, guys. Hold on,
Hold
Jeff.
on.
They replayed the play. It's 4th and inches.
I may have jinxed it. I may be the biggest.
There's no such thing
in
as a
history of
jinx.
America.
There's no such thing as a jinx, so don't worry about that.
I
But it
hate
is 4th
myself.
and inches.
Wow.
Only the ignorant believe in jinxes, Mike. So don't fall for that.
I mean, I'm looking at the scoreboard at the game, and they were showing Bud Light commercials for 3 minutes
Yeah,
straight.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think it was over.
They actually reviewed it, and I don't know what happened. They let the clock run out. I don't know. So the Steelers might get the ball here with a few seconds left.
I have obviously I can't hear the Jumbotron from if this goes wrong, then I need to quit. Y'all need to send me back.
They're
Send me
punting
back to
here.
the North Pole, get me out of here. We talk about Stefanski
Where is the
and
ball
better
right
clock
now that they're
management.
punting? Oh yeah, it's on their side of the field. They got to punt.
Anthony's asking how far behind are we? Anthony doesn't realize that when we do this, we can't actually see the game. I'm watching the game on the Jumbotron across. 4th and inches.
Exactly.
Well, I mean,
Well, that was certainly a decision.
yeah, they're going to punt. The Steelers will have 10 seconds. They'll probably have to go 80 yards. I think we're safe. All right, take it easy, guys.
I'm not saying we're safe. I've already said it's over.
Stop
We already
it.
did this. We've
Stop.
already done this twice.
Stop living in your. We haven't done anything twice. They won the first game. All right, they didn't lose the second game because you said they won. So stop being silly. Don't take the Browns off the hook for stupid jinxes.
Hey, the chat is undefeated.
They're killing
All right,
me. And
the
I deserve it.
a
They're killing
great
me and I
punt.
deserve it.
Great punt. There's 9 seconds left. The Steelers have it at their own 4-yard line. They're not scoring a 96-yard touchdown with 9 seconds left.
Bull.
If that goes down.
Stop embarrassing
Please.
yourselves, will you? Stop embarrassing yourselves. If you're
The
dumb
Jets
enough
aren't going
to
to score. The Jets are
if
gonna
you're
score
dumb
14
enough to
points in the last
believe
120.
Safety.
that
Touchdown.
me saying something changes, did the
And we're
Browns score a
done.
defensive touchdown?
I think so. I hear the crowd. You guys.
Good. I need the fantasy points. They did nothing for me tonight.
Defensive touchdown. I don't know who did it. Defensive touchdown. There's the
Oh, shut up,
fireworks.
Rob. I'm not a
Grant
jinx.
got
Only
it.
idiots believe in jinxes.
There's the fireworks.
Don't live in your fears. Don't be idiots.
I don't know who it was, but guys, hold on. Look at this.
Oh, they're trying to pitch play. They're pitching it around the Steelers.
Now, yeah, there it is.
Oh,
Touchdown.
it came loose and the Browns got it and they landed on it in the end zone.
I
don't know
need
if
them
it's-
fantasy points.
Yeah, I wanted
Shut
to.
up,
I need those
Nuggets.
fantasy points too with the Browns D.
Look
They've
at the
been playing around.
comments.
I don't know if they're calling it a touchdown or not, but the Browns won the game. That's all that matters. It looks like it is a
2-1.
touchdown.
First place in the AFC North. You get to ride this for 10 days. For on last Sunday, for what the team has gone through this entire offseason, bringing in Deshaun Watson. Look, you get to go 10 days now and go into Atlanta where Nick Chubb goes home. Jadeveon Clowney goes closer to home.
Yeah.
So many players on this team are from the Southeast. It's
And
a
the Falcons
great
are
spot
trash.
for this team
The
to be in.
Falcons are trash.
Well, Drake London's good, and that's an issue.
Stop it. Stop it.
We're gonna
The Falcons are trash. Stop it.
Oh,
Don't
they
tell
are
me about
trash.
Drake
There ain't no
London.
doubt about
Get out
that.
of here. They're trash.
Guys,
Mark,
I'm
the
not gonna
quarterback.
lie.
Listen, the Browns have faced a who-who of garbage quarterbacks here. Let's
Yeah.
be ready for when they start playing real teams. Take care of freaking business. Get to 3-1. They should be 3-0. It's a good win.
Guys, G-Bush,
Yeah.
before you go, I would just say I was getting nervous. I know Bull says there's nothing as jinxes.
Don't live in your fears.
I
told
was
you.
starting to get nervous that I had started something terrible here. And
Hey,
G, you missed
We-
2
we
days.
do
You had to
have-
hold
we
it
do
2
have
days
a-
it takes, but a dub's a dub, right? A dub's a dub.
hey, I'll take the dub.
I
We
ripped
do
him out of
have
the training room. He did that.
elf. We do have an L in the middle of that field, so that can work for you or against you. All depends on what you want to do, how you feel about it. But now, ain't no such thing as a jinx. You gotta go out and make plays, man. You know, it's a lot of people that believe in that. It's about them going out doing what they need to do. And Bull was right. second half, all jokes aside, I thought they played. First half, I did not look like how it was looking. The Steelers got to run the ball. Steelers got to pass the ball. When they blitzed and they got to Trubisky, they couldn't get him on the ground. We didn't see where Myles Garrett was. Second half, I think, and to be truthful, second half, after those linebackers came in, hey, talk about you want to talk about who really stepped it up? Talk about this as far as Jacob Phillips, 7 total tackles, 2 solos, a sack, a TFL, and a pass defended in a QB hurry. Now, this is all just
Jacob's my boy, you know that.
That's just all off the bench, and I'll take that. That's production, and I think they really stepped it up. Taki really solidified. He ran down the middle of the field, put his hands up on that seam route they was trying to throw the football. I thought the backups and the reserves played very well for the Browns in the second half.
Tony Fields too, G. I thought he came in and made some plays too, and they needed it, right? Like the starting offense, and obviously there were still a lot of starters in, but first half, as you said, there were a lot of things I didn't like John Johnson getting like trucked into the end zone for that touchdown. Like, what was that?
That was tough.
And then Cade York missing an extra point again. I'm like, but second half they locked it down. They did what they had. They just grinded it out. I mean, the running game. I mean, it's funny. It's like, how they stopped giving LeBron MVPs because it was like almost boring to give him an MVP because he was so great. I feel like it's like we almost like don't talk about Nick Chubb because it's like, Nick Chubb's great, so what's there to talk about? He just at some of those runs tonight were just absurd. How many, there were 3-4 times where he should have been stopped in the backfield, and instead he got a 1-2 yard run, which looks like nothing in the box score, but there were 3-4 plays. He could have had a 3-yard, 4-yard loss. Most running backs would have, and he never goes backwards, or almost never. I mean, it's so rare. He'll always get that extra yard too, whatever it is, dragging guys for the first down. I mean, we can't talk about him enough.
The whole offense, it's a drastic difference the last 2 games to the first in the way that Kevin Stefanski's calling the game, the way they're distributing targets, and the way they're balancing the running attack off the passing game. And when Brissett is standing in the pocket and looks comfortable as he does with what Stefanski's calling, with the protection, which the protection's been phenomenal for 3 weeks now. The offensive line, we had questions about Conklin. They've been really, really good. We know the backs are great, and I think the most important part of this offense that we've seen so far is in the last 2 weeks, Amari Cooper's not only played like a mid-tier level 1 guy, he's been a legit number 1 receiver, and they're putting
great
towards him that it's opening up holes for Njoku in the middle. And today, we saw Brissett look his way a lot against a weak Steelers linebacker unit. And what did he end up with? 8 catches, 9 catches, a touchdown?
Yeah.
I mean, by far his best game of the season. So,
and it was, I don't think you blame Stefanski for the first game. I mean, let's face it, Jacoby Brissett was awful in that first game.
I'm not blaming
and he's been excellent in these last 2. He's played great.
He looks more comfortable in the system with what
they're
doing.
Absolutely. Agreed.
Defensively, G. Bush.
He's just, I can't overestimate this. I went from that first game against the Panthers, like, man, listen, Jacoby, we got to figure something out here too. This man looks like a top 15 type quarterback. I'm not lying to you. So, like, maybe it's just me or the throws that Baker was not making, like the professionalism that Baker just did not show. But these throws are on the money for the most part. I'm looking like when he's dropping back, putting it on him that first drive to Amari Cooper, I'm like, oh, listen, he's rolling. This dude right now look like a top 15 quarterback. I'm telling you, the players believe in him. The offense believes in him, and I believe Kevin Stefanski believes in him, because even sometimes when they could have handed the ball off and been plain and vanilla, they was putting the ball out there, and I thought he gave him an opportunity to do so.
Look at that 3rd and 1 call, and Jeff, I want to go to you with this.
Yep.
3rd and 1. How often are we, or what? 99% chance that's a Nick Chubb handoff. They do a little play action on a deep crossing route to Amari. Brilliant play call, and how about Brissett having the confidence to actually let it rip for the first time in 3 games?
Well, first things first, G. Bush, you know how excited I get about but Amari Cooper, the footwork, everything he does, it's smooth, it's so concise. But that was the thing. And this is what Baker, back in the day, 2018, where everybody fell in love with him, it was if the first read is there, it doesn't matter if you're a top player, a top wide receiver, or a third string tight end. First read is there. You're open. I'm going to drill it to you. And that's what you're seeing from Jacoby Brissett. And that's the most impressive thing about what he's doing is because he understands the nuance and the way things are called, the play action and everything involved. But when it's there, he is confident, rip, whether it's Njoku, whether it is Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones, the out today that he danced around the sidelines, get a first down. You love the way Jacoby Brissett is embracing what Coach Stefanski is calling, understanding that it's a limited amount of time that I'm going to be asked to throw the ball because I have Nick Chubb, because I have Kareem Hunt. We all know, get it. But when my number is called and I find the guy, I'm confident, I'm concise, I know exactly what I'm doing. And again, 1 turnover, 3 games. This is what you ask from a backup quarterback over a long stretch.
Yeah, Jacoby's played real well these last 2 games. I don't want to get carried away. We got to be realistic. The guy has been in the league for a while. I don't want to worry about where he ranks.
Bull, you're underestimating him. It's not about rankings, but it's about the fact that no. But listen to me real quick. Yeah. It's about understanding the fact that it's a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
For 11 games, and you got to play clean. You got to play concise and let your defense.
And he's played well 2 out of 3 games. I don't want to get carried away.
Look, I'm not giving him $100 million, but you got to appreciate the effort.
I'm not giving him any million. Absolutely. He's played fantastic these last 2 games. I give him full credit. He has taken leadership of the offense. He has commanded the offense. I agree with you guys. The team believes in him, and that's what's important. I think the stars around him got the ball and played like stars. Amari Cooper, 2nd week in a row. Nick Chubb, 3rd week in a row. Kareem Hunt, 3rd week in a row. And Kareem Hunt doesn't get as many opportunities, but still, and there was
just real quick. How bad was Amari Cooper reception where he stepped 4 steps out of bounds?
That was so bizarre because he seems to have he's right. The most aware wide receiver. It was so weird.
Bad night.
Yeah.
Bad night.
That was so weird that he stepped out of bounds. But I don't know. And again, something we talked about briefly, offensive line, 3rd week in a row, playing great. And the Browns have struggled to run against the Steelers at times, right? They gave the stat before. Nick Chubb has had the worst career rushing average against the Steelers. Not that it was bad,
still
but he's
6.
Right, it's still really good, but it's not good. For him, he has such lofty standards, and he had a great game tonight, and it was just across the board. But the offensive line deserves a lot of credit, right? James Hudson played right tackle the first 2 games. They get Conklin back. Then, as you mentioned, Jeff, Jedrick Wills gets hurt, and they bring Hudson in to play left tackle. You didn't notice anything, right? I mean, he just came in there, and he did the job. I don't know how many plays totally played, but, not a lot of penalties. And the key, and what we knew about Jacoby Brissett coming in, and here's the biggest difference between him and Baker, is that Jacoby Brissett knows who he is. We said this before the season. He knows what he can do. He knows what he can't do. He doesn't try to be Patrick Mahomes. He's not Patrick Mahomes, and he knows it. Baker Mayfield thinks he's a superstar, and so he tries to make plays that he can't make, and what does that lead to? Turnovers. And Jacoby Brissett has 1 turnover in 3 weeks, and the only reason he turned the ball over is because they were trying to miracle last-second play, which they should have never come to anyway. If it wasn't for that, you have no turnovers. And that was an unusual situation. So he's doing I agree. He's playing better than I expected, certainly these last 2 games.
Yes.
But he's most importantly being efficient, which is, he's never been the most efficient quarterback, but he's always been a guy who doesn't turn the ball over, and that he has shown yet again. I can't be happier with the job he's doing. And like you said, you get the time off, now go kick Atlanta's ass on the road.
And I'll say this.
Real quick, G, before you jump in here. Ethan Posick deserves some credit. He's really, really played well. And you look at the path was for the Browns this offseason. He's been there basically the 3rd string center, and it's going to be him. He's done a really, really good job.
I agree with that. And another thing I give all of them credit with is Kevin Stefanski is the most multiple as far as his formations, the shifts, the moving parts before snap.
The flea flicker screen. How about the flea flicker screen? That was awesome. That was dope.
You think he was looking? Were they looking to go deep on that play, and then it just wasn't there?
It was just the envision of going deep. Because Jacoby doesn't go deep. They don't do it.
Not really.
They've never done this in 3 years with Stefanski. But it was a beautiful way to set up a screen. Go ahead, G.
It's smoke and mirrors. All that motion and stuff to do is just getting people to understand what their alignments is. They're like, hey, it's misdirection. Look over here, move over here.
Wipers, like
the guys got to check. And guess what? Now you're a step slow and I can get the ball to somebody. Now you're a step slow. Here comes the counter. And I think it's a great job about because all those moving parts, there's no post-snap or pre-snap fouls. There's no delay of games. There's no false starts. All of that is very key, and I'm impressed by how multiple they are as far as their shifts are. And I'll give Kevin Stefanski credit. We give him a lot of heat sometimes, but for what he has, I don't have any problem with the way he's been calling the games because he's calling it to his strength.
Agreed. And he did. They didn't do it as much as the first game, but at least we saw a couple of times Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb on the field together. And that one play on the 4th down play, when they had him in together and they ended up giving it to Hunt went in motion and he got the first down. It was a good play. They had the defense confused.
No, and Njoku was phenomenal. I thought this offense for the 3rd week in a row really has been pretty solid. Let's talk about the defense real quick, though. It's been criticized, and rightfully so, the last 2 weeks with giving up multiple deep passes. They've given up leads. Today in the first half, we saw some more man coverage, especially Denzel Ward. G. Bush, I'll start with you. We'll go around the horn. Obviously, their best defensive performance, but it wasn't all roses. That first half, they let the Steelers march up and down the field. Second half, they tightened it up a little bit. But in your opinion, what was the biggest change from the first 2 weeks to today you saw in Joe Woods' defense?
Denzel Ward is in people's face. It's not that I talked to, we was doing pregame stuff and you saw Denzel Ward for the first 2 weeks bailing, 10 yards off cushions bailing. That's not his game. That's Denzel Ward. You talk to Tyvus. Denzel Ward is a man guy, and they put him in on Deontay Johnson. And Deontay Johnson caught a few passes, but you saw down in the second half, he got his hands up. He was everywhere. He was in people's faces. And let me tell you about this kid, Martin Emerson. We've been talking about Greg Newsome. That Martin Emerson is he's going to be something special. I'm telling you that right now. He physical. Hey, Pickens made a hell of a catch over here, but Martin Emerson is different. He's big. He's physical. He's in the plays, and I like the fact that the corners is up, moved up. Make them make some plays on you. I thought Woods listened to him. I thought he played a lot more aggressive in the secondary.
Bull?
I'd still like to see more aggressive defensive play calling from Joe Woods. I thought we'd see them blitzing, especially with because Myles Garrett was a non-factor in this game. He got some pressure in this late in the game, but I think he had 1 or 2 quarterback hits late. But for the most part, he was a non-factor again this week, and we need more from him. I understand they didn't have Clowney, but if you're I saw a couple people saying he's playing out of position, he's doing this. You're one of the highest paid players in the league. You're one of the biggest. Everybody says you're one of the best defensive players in the league. We've said it a million times. You gotta be a factor in the game. I don't care who's not playing. I'm sorry. I love Myles, but he's got to be a bigger factor. I thought they'd blitz some G today, and they didn't really do it at all. So that they didn't really get much pressure on Trubisky. He's just not very good, but a little bit late. But I agree with G. The thing that stood out to me the most was Denzel Ward because he was manning up a lot more this time, which we wanted to see, which, as you said, Tyvus mentioned, and I thought he played a great game. I agree with you on Emerson. I feel like we didn't call Newsome's name, so I guess that's a good thing. I don't remember that. By the way, you referenced that catch by Pickens was absurd.
Unbelievable.
That was crazy.
One of the best catches. I was looking at it like, is this better than the Odell Beckham catch? Because it was a little bit. I mean, it was a great catch. I'm not gonna say it was better than that, but it was on par. They did.
Well, the Odell catch was in the end zone, so I guess you give him a little bonus point for that. But
he also Odell came back. That was more in his hand instead of Odell going back. But
still, to hold it when you hit the ground like that, I was like, what?
Regardless. Jeff, what was your big takeaway defensively from this game?
For me, it was the fact that like things got weird quick. Like we knew going into this. Look, the Browns were down edgewise to obviously Myles Garrett, Alex Wright, and then it was Rochelle, and then it was Isaiah Thomas. It was a tough spot to be in. And look, for Myles tonight, look, I mean, could you find an isolated shot where it wasn't like somebody at the knees, somebody at the hip, somebody at the chest? And like Myles had a really tough day, and the fact that he wasn't able to contribute today, I guess I can kind of understand it. I mean, like he was the main focus to be taken away. But you take into the fact that Walker was taken out of the game. Mausa Cormo was taken out of the game. That's huge because like these are like the contingent of it. And then Jacob Phillips and Bush knows I love Jacob Phillips. And I've been getting some heat over the last couple of weeks. That's been so great for the first 2 weeks. But like it was it. Jacob, this is it. You got to take us home. And like he was quick, concise, physical. So that was really impressive to see. But the secondary and with the man stuff, it was like, look, and Garrett, we talked about this. If you like, you're at the point where the zone coverage is the issue, these guys are all really good. They're all making a lot of money. They were all high draft picks. It's a man. Like, feed to him, Joe Woods. And I think Joe Woods needed to do that. And look, nobody's getting run out of town. It's not going to happen. You had to make Mitch Trubisky feel like he's Mitch Trubisky. That's what the Browns did today. Look, the Steelers may be a whole different team when the Browns see him the next time. But for today, you took advantage of the situation. They should have advantage of it on Sunday. They did take advantage of it week 1. Browns should be 3-0.
They should.
But it doesn't matter because right now you're 2-1, and for the next 10 days, you are the cream of the crop of the AFC North, and that's all you can ask for the way this team is currently constructed.
I can't believe we got like this. There's a number of people killing me on the chat here. They're like, Bull, I don't even think Bull watches the game because
I gotta cut you off.
Why?
I tweeted after the first half, hey, is Myles in the game? It got like 1,000
He
likes.
was an odd factor. There's no doubt.
150 people were like, are you watching the game? As if TJ Watt, Aaron, these guys don't get double teamed every
Of course they get double folks. Stop embarrassing.
He was triple teamed more often than he was single or doubled. He was triple teamed a lot.
And I'm not saying he wasn't, but also I just expect more from a guy who's making $25 million.
Guys, then find a way to scheme him up to make a play. Have guys crossing each other there. Do something. Like what are we gonna say if Myles Garrett gets no sacks? The rest they haven't double teamed him. He's a great player. He's got I'm sorry. I know he was double teamed a lot. I know he's triple teamed a lot. I'm watching the game too. He doesn't get a full pass. He made some plays. Like, come on now. Stop.
As a defensive line, give us
as a defensive lineman, what you want to do is when I look at Myles Garrett, right? I want to see how you affect the game. As far as the run game, see, you could be a dominant guy. You could be dominant and affect the game and not just have sacks. You can have TFLs. You can be down the line of scrimmage. You can have hurries. There's tip passes. There's a lot of things you could do. Myles Garrett was double teamed a lot, triple teamed sometimes too. But there are times where even Kirk Herbstreit kind of pointed out, hey, look, all right, now Myles Garrett is down the line of scrimmage and he got in and made a tackle where he usually gives somebody a shoulder and he kind of not really, you know what I'm saying? But here's the reality. Myles Garrett is always going to be looked at. When you put the C on your chest, he's always going to be looked at and he's going to be held to a higher standard. They're going to say TJ Watt, Aaron Donald, because that's what he wants to do. He wants to be Defensive Player of the Year. And if he wants to be Defensive Player of the Year, people are going to say, I need 2 sacks every single game, especially when you don't have a franchise quarterback playing right now. So that's what he's held to. And if you ask Myles Garrett, he'll probably tell you, look, I need to get home. I need to get home and I need to find a way to make plays. That's it.
We have huge expectations for the guy. I love him. He's a superstar. I expect superstar expectations. I don't think it's too much to ask.
Yeah.
But I don't want to listen. We don't want to spend the whole time killing Myles Garrett.
They won the game. The defense
they won the game.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like the game plan for Pittsburgh was take Myles Garrett this game. And guess what? 10 of us got it done. That's the important thing. Because week in, week out, if you're an offensive coordinator, get Myles Garrett out. And that's what Pittsburgh did. What? They lost.
That's all that matters. At the end of the day, the Cleveland Browns are 2-1 in first place in the AFC North. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 1-2 and still have Mitch Trubisky as their quarterback.
Hey, we can say the same thing. We can say the same thing about Minka Fitzpatrick. They spot shadowed Minka Fitzpatrick.
He did nothing. He was a non-factor.
And let's be honest, Myles Garrett, we saw more Myers tonight than we certainly did at Minka Fitzpatrick.
Make him a glorified linebacker.
Yeah.
They didn't give him nothing. He just had to tackle Chubb and Hunt the whole game. I'm sure he's like,
it's weird because Minka Fitzpatrick is a baller against almost every other team, but he certainly has his issues against Cleveland Browns.
And by the way,
Cam Hayward did nothing in this game either.
If people are going to rip, and like I said, if people are going to say Myles Garrett didn't do a ton, Minka Fitzpatrick, equally as high-profile defensive player, was a non-factor, and so was Cam Hayward for the most part.
Cam Hayward had 7 tackles. It didn't seem like it.
No,
Cam
Hayward.
It's tough for us because Minka's a Jersey boy. Look, Cam Howard's just a beast. He's just a beast. He is.
Sometimes as a D tackle, you got to realize, it's tough sledding up in there. And see, here's the thing. Give them credit. The Browns had a chance to give them the knockout blow. The Steelers fought like the Steelers. They could have let Nick Chubb break a long one. They could have let Kareem Hunt break a long one, but they didn't do it. I'm going to take this win. It's a win against the Steelers. Let's not act like we've been getting them all the time.
No, it's a great. First of all, it's the NFL. Every win's a great win. You know, you beat top teams, then it's extra special. But every win's a great win. They needed to win. We talked about it. They needed to go 3-1 to start the season, have a shot. And I expect them to do it. I expect them to go beat the Falcons. They'll get the extra rest. Who's your MVP for the game, guys? Who if you had to give an MVP award for the Browns for the game, who would you give it to?
Man, that's easy. I could give it to Nick Chubb every single day because that's just what he do. But I cannot overstate. I can't overstate Jacoby Brissett and how he has exceeded, not only met the challenge, exceeded expectation levels. Now, I'm not going to put him in the Hall of Fame, but I'm going to tell you what. If he's playing the way he's playing right now, we'd have had this last year, Cleveland Browns would have whole week. That's 12, 13 wins. If he's playing now, you're right. He's playing the last 2 games.
Yep. These last 2 games, he's played much better than Baker played last year. No doubt about that. Jeff, who's your MVP of the game?
No, I 100% agree with Garrett because it needs to. Look, we know this team can run the ball. We know this team is going to be better defensively than they were in week 1 or in week 2. So what's the key here? We were set, keeping everybody honest as far as the quarterback. Amari Cooper getting fed, David Njoku getting fed. Guess what? Makes life easier for Kareem, Nick Chubb. Jacoby Brissett is, and look, it's not going to change anything. There's $230 million invested. And for Jacoby, maybe there's going to be an opportunity next year somewhere else. But Jacoby Brissett, are you kidding me? Clear, concise, lasers, dark. Not really going deep necessarily. But you want to know what? Browns 2-1. That's what matters. Right. They are 1-0 within the division. And guess what? They get to ride this for 10 days. So however this team may be confused as the way they're currently constructed, they can hold their head high for 10 days, and they deserve it. They do. Because it's a really, really solid roster. And I know what everybody thinks about the quarterback of the future, but there's a lot of great dudes on this roster, and they deserve this. They do.
I'll throw you a little curveball, Bull.
Go ahead.
I'll just say Amari Cooper just for the sake of argument. I think what he does, drawing the defense's attention in the secondary away from the other guys, which allows.
Oh, it seems so stupid easy, Mike. It does. It seems so stupid easy for him.
And he just makes Brissett's life easy because he's always open. He's like Taco Bell, 24/7. Doesn't matter. You go there at 3 a.m., you go there at 10 a.m., 4 p.m. Yeah. He's just always open. And I mean, Brissett is the MVP, but if I'm going to go off and not agree with these two locked on guys, just for the sake of a little different answer, I'll take Amari Cooper as the MVP.
Everybody send their MVPs in the chat here. I'm going to give you. Can I give co-MVPs because I want to give credit to 2 guys that we haven't mentioned here.
It's a cop-out, yes.
I'll give my offensive MVP to David Njoku.
Okay.
Because Brissett played well last week, so he did what he did last week. I kind of saw that, and Amari Cooper did what I think Amari Cooper had the exact same yardage as last week, didn't he?
He had 101 last week. He had 101 this week.
Yeah, which is
Exactly.
funny.
Less receptions,
But
2 less receptions.
But this was David Njoku's best game, maybe his best game. I mean, one of his best games ever as a Brown. And he was just
if you wanted an idea of why the Browns extended him to the money they did, this is the type of game.
This is what they want to see.
Yep.
And in fairness to him, the first game they were using him to block a lot.
Yep.
He wasn't really going out much. But guys, I think we mentioned him briefly. I think G may have mentioned him. Maybe Jeff. I don't remember now. Jacob Phillips was all over the place in this game. 7 tackles, tackle for a loss, quarterback hit, a pass defended, a sack. He made some impact plays in this game, especially in the second half when the defense stepped up. So he was the defensive MVP of this game. You know, and he's a name we don't mention very often. But when when Miles was getting doubled and triple teamed, and guys were dropping like flies, the cheap shot on Anthony Walker there. What a shocker! The Steelers with a cheap shot. Who could have seen that coming?
But by the way,
he played
crazy.
great.
That cheap shot. I'm gonna tell you what. This is why when Aditi comes on, I don't be one to hear nothing she got to say about the Pittsburgh Steelers and their golden ways. Them dudes be doing some extra stuff. They've been doing that.
Dirtiest team ever.
James Harrison, Joey Porter, they've been doing that kind of cheap stuff forever. First of all, he raked him across the eyes. Then he big time wrestled, karate chopped him in the back of the neck, and then his man came and stepped on his leg. I'm like, what is this? And we didn't say anything. Actually, it was an illegal man downfield. Boy, I can't stand the Steelers, man. Oh my gosh, I'm done.
G, no. Let me ask you this, G. As someone new to Cleveland, does a win over the Steelers feel a little extra sweet?
I want them to die a slow death. I want them to lose for 35 years. I want them to keep drafting number 1 draft picks, and then they never play because they decided that they didn't like football and went on missionary trips. I want these dudes to die a slow death. I don't never want them to be competitive. I don't never want to see Mike Tomlin win no more championships. I don't want their colors. I don't like Heinz Field. I don't even eat ketchup on none of my stuff because of these suckers. I don't like them, bro. Get up out of here.
Hey, real quick, Mikey, I got three quickies for you. Number 1, the broadcast is amazing. I love it on Amazon because it's 4K. The Al Michaels and Herb Street are great. There's a couple of guys on the pre and post and halftime that I'm not feeling. I'm not feeling Tony Gonzalez.
He was wearing gloves today.
And no offense to our boy
Gonzalez.
Tyvis, I'm really not feeling Richard Sherman either. And I know he's Tyvis's boy. Fitzpatrick's great on there, though. And yeah. And by the way, can we Browns players, why are we wearing head socks when it's 60 degrees out? Some of the guys were out there like it was 12 degrees. I mean, come on. Suck it up a little bit.
20-mile-an-hour winds.
Suck it up, Jeff. You wouldn't have, would you wear the head condom if you were out there?
I'm in a freaking hoodie right now, bro.
That's embarrassing.
It's going off the chain. I was out there. By the way, I was at the pregame. I was in the 20-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah, you
it
were
was
fine.
a wind tunnel on the street. It was fine. I had the same hoodie on.
Yeah.
Same joint.
G.
By the way, are the people
how many people are built like?
Yeah,
how many
that's
people
true.
are built like you, G?
And you are wearing a hoodie.
You're only 6'5", dude.
Yeah.
He just called me. He said, "You got a little extra weight on you."
That's true.
He said,
Gee, you know
Me
I'm
too.
cold in the middle of July, bro.
That's
Right.
true. By the way, is anybody calling for Josh Dobbs to start at this point still?
No.
I think we're good.
Who?
Right, I think we're good there. I will say one thing that surprised me a little bit today. Didn't get any run. I thought, and Garrett, you know this. I thought maybe you would exploit that. Maybe it was something the Browns held in the hold. You know, it was like a hold card. But I thought Dearness Johnson maybe get a little run today. It was only special
I think
teams.
they did it because they wanted to see if that dude they got off the street was going to catch the punts.
He caught
the punts and
he fair caught that one at the top. I was like, that's it. It's all I need to see. He's the punt reserve for the rest of the year.
Anthony Schwartz, he was on the milk box. He was on the milk box again.
Him and Felton.
I saw him running down.
Yeah, they're on the outside in, no doubt.
And he got fooled on. He couldn't even down it inside the 10. He was fooled on the punt unit. He looked lost on that. I said, God bless his soul. Bless his soul. Maybe next year they need to red shirt him.
Hey, you know
Put
what?
a shirt on Schwartz.
someone just put in the comments, but it reminded me of something I wanted to bring up. Brissett doesn't throw the ball deep, but my man throws a 107-mile-an-hour fastball on a 1st and 6 slant route. How does he have so much velocity on a short pass, but he doesn't? I'm not saying it's not the arm strength to go deep, but it seems like he's just kind of hesitant to let it rip past.
Because
7,
he
8,
knows
9,
his
10
limitations.
yards.
He's smart
but
about
he's
it.
throwing an absolute heater 10 yards. If he's got the arm strength to split the seam and put it in a 1-yard pocket between 2 defenders at 112 miles
He's
an
not
hour,
confident throwing the ball deep.
let it
I
rip
think
deep.
he's not confident throwing it deep, so he doesn't do it.
I will say this. He put that one right on the money. There wasn't nobody really by.
Yeah, I mean, it was wide open, Amari.
He was wide open. All we need, and I said this all jokes aside, I said this before. All we need to do is hit 1 or 2 of those. Now, if Amari Cooper stays in bounds and don't run out of bounds, I don't know why he did that, but if he hits that, we are there. We are right where we need to be. You only need to hit a couple of those to stay in contention. Now, here's what I'm gonna say. We real happy right now, and I'm gonna take the happiness because we doing what we need to do, and it's another winnable game on the mark against the Atlanta
Falcons. For the
Falcons.
next 10 days, you know this.
Yes, but I will say this: the degree of difficulties gets worse. They got some guys on the schedule, and we know what that's about. So I think they're gonna have to step their game up, special teams, defense, and they're gonna have to figure a way to manufacture some throws down the field if they want to beat those other teams.
Yeah, well, they got. I mean, Atlanta this week.
Real quick,
what's that?
Someone throw a 5-yard pass as hard as Brissett does on a consistent basis.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It didn't stand out to me that outside of that one pass that Cooper dropped that it was that hard. I don't know.
He's got a third baseman's arm. Like every now and then it's uncontrollable, but like his dart. Yeah, I got you.
Atlanta stinks next week. Then you got the Chargers, who are fantastic, and then I don't think the Patriots are very good after that. But then you play nothing but good teams until Watson comes back. So obviously it will get a lot more challenging. I don't think the Steelers team is very good. I don't say that to take anything away from the Browns because every win's a great win in the NFL. I'm just saying, I don't think they're very good. They're well coached, obviously. There's some key good players.
The Steelers team is a mirage. The Steelers team is
they're not that good.
Pickett. Just play Kenny Pickett at this point. Enough. Just play
I don't buy that he's.
See what you are.
You really think he's that good?
I'm not saying he is or he isn't.
They should play him.
You drafted him at 20th overall. It's his team. The ball.
And guys, one really good thing out of this game and one really bad thing that we talked about this past week. The really good thing, there were no breakdowns in the secondary, right? We didn't have any of that, right? That was a major concern. It was a disaster. We didn't have any of that. One negative, it didn't haunt them this game, but it could have. They screwed up the onside kick again. If you see the replay of it, Tyvis broke this down that they let the guy, right on the sideline get in. They did it again. They missed that block again with the inside guy. They were lucky it went out of bounds. Mike Prefer's been a disaster. I don't know why this guy gets so much hype. I'm not saying, again, I don't advocate for firing guys 3 weeks in, but we got to clean this up. How are you making these mistakes on an onside kick? They're lucky it didn't hurt him this time.
G. Bush, you got your final point here. We wrap up in 5 minutes, but final point here. Take it away.
Final point is, listen, good win, solid win. It always feels good to get a dub on a Thursday night when other teams got to keep playing. I didn't feel so bad, about the Jets loss. Now, I thought we needed to be, we could have been 4-0, but you see what happened. I always take a look what somebody else has done. And the Ravens gave up some points. The Bengals is not off to a start to look like they might have a little Super Bowl slump. And look, you're 2-1. So now what we can do is we can start looking. And for me, I realistically think the Browns could be 7-4. And that was the top of the food chain. I thought what they could do with Jacoby Brissett, 7-4. It's the way he's playing, the way the offense is running. I think that's within sight, and that's exactly where you want to be when Deshaun Watson comes back if you want to make the playoffs this year.
Jeff?
You have to come out of this with Jacoby Brissett just playing outside of his mind. And keep in mind, great success was with the Indianapolis Colts. He was playing in the NFC South, where 3 games a year in the dome. Otherwise, you're playing South Florida. This team is playing really wrong. And I think the biggest thing we take from this today is the defense. Stop. Look, this defense is better than what we saw weeks 1 and week 2. Yeah, confusion, whatever it is. These guys are ballers. They play. What we saw week 1 and week is not the norm. There's no way it's the norm. And the question will be for the foreseeable future is, can the offense stay on the path that they're on? That's the biggest key. If they do, I agree with Garrett. When Deshaun Watson comes back to town, this could be a team in an advantageous situation.
Bolt?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to go crazy about Jacoby Brissett. I do want to say that he has played better in these two games than I've ever seen him play before. I've never seen him play. Not that I'm watching, not that I've seen every game he's played, but I'm like such a lunatic with fantasy football that I watch a lot of games, and go from game to game. And so I've seen him play plenty over the years. And he's just he's never been an efficient quarterback. You look at his completion percentage, it's pretty horrible for his career. It's worse than Baker, and Baker's is horrible. So, but these two games, and the first game, you're like, oh, God. I mean, he was awful in that first game. But these last two games, I mean, he's been nearly perfect. He's given you all you can expect and more. And we don't need him to be great. We just need him to be efficient and not turn over the ball. I felt good about the not turning over the ball. I was worried about the efficiency. He wasn't efficient in the first game. He's been extremely efficient these next two games. If he continues to do that, then the Browns have a good chance of going 6-5 or maybe even 7-4. I mean, that's pushing it because you got to beat Atlanta. You got to beat New England. The rest of the games are all going to be really tough. But and not that New England's a piece, a pushover. But again, it's the NFL. No game's easy. But I think they got to win those two games, and if they do, they'll have a shot to get to 7-4, certainly 6-5. And if you can get to 6-5, and certainly if you can get to 7-4, you'll have a realistic chance of making the playoffs. Hopefully, Watson can play well enough those first couple of weeks as he's knocking the deep rust off, and we'll see. It's a long way to go. I'm getting the cart before the horse, but. Overall, a lot more good than bad. There's still things to clean up defensively and special teams wise, but I'm thrilled for the win. Jacoby played really well, and the running game's awesome. So go Browns. Let's go. Take care of business against the Falcons.
3 quick points to close it. One, Donovan Mitchell smashing the guitar before the game. A+. I don't know if that's a new thing the Browns are doing, but that was cool. A++ tradition. 2, after what happened on Sunday, the Browns needed a win like this to erase the catastrophe of in a way that was relatively convincing and to put your foot on the throat of an AFC North division rival, especially the Steelers, and win at home like that to end it on a defensive touchdown. You can't beat it. And third and finally, to avoid these onside kick woes, how about you just don't give up a touchdown or a field goal late to make it a one-score game so they're in a position to onside kick it.
Yeah, right,
and let's eliminate any chances of a missed block by getting one more stop. That's on Miles. That's on Joe Woods. It's on Denzel. It's on all 11 members and really 22 members of the backups of that defensive unit. Let's just get that one stop and avoid any onside kick catastrophes because back-to-back weeks, that was not a high point for this team. Guys, we went an hour.
Mikey,
yes.
10 seconds. Why are we getting adult chatting sites in our tweet? Our
eventually,
here?
Every YouTube chat gets spammed.
Oh, it does?
We have got to the point where we're getting spammed, so I can't close them out. So
and number 2, people are saying Jeff is many Michelob's in right now. Jeff, is that true?
Miller's.
Jeff had back to school night tonight before he got home for the Thursday night football game.
How pitiful is that?
Yeah.
And finally, go Guardians! Go Guardians! 5 magic number 5 is 5. They sweep the White Sox, stab in the heart. That's it.
If you haven't subscribed to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, we are live tomorrow at 11 a.m. We are also live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Check out the Bullpen. That's Bulls Podcast. Check out Locked On Browns with G. Bush and Jeff Lloyd daily every morning. Hit that subscribe button. Ring the bell.
Like button.
Liked it. We got the shirts. Buy our shirts. Buy the merch.
Beautiful.
And guys, if you thought this was fun, we got 3 new faces, DeQuell Jackson and Tyvis Powell, in-house tomorrow to help us break down this game again. So until then,
F the Steelers.
Bush, Adam the Bull, Jeff Lloyd, I'm McNuggets. Have a great night, guys.